Alright guys, I'm not even gonna lie, this is probably one of the worst days of my life. I actually filmed a video literally just now on kind of like live reaction to these new Cyber style structure deck cards, and literally 2 hours after I made my video I realized that I actually misinterpreted something about one of the cards, which led to me believing that it was going to be completely revolutionary and extremely good, and I actually just literally completely missed an extremely important ruling in Yu-Gi-Oh! Which kind of prevents all of that from being a thing. So yeah, Cyber style structure deck cards. We already had 3 announced before, and not a single one of them was really just game-changing. Now we've got 2 more cards. Let's just try to find out if they can at least somewhat be playable. So let's jump right into it. It's 2 a.m. by the way, which kind of explains why my soul isn't really here. But yeah. First card is Attachment Cyborn, so we're already not really off to a great start because it's not a Cyber Dark monster and it's not a Cyber Dragon monster, so it inherently doesn't have any added value in terms of just its name being like searchable and stuff like that. And to make matters worse, it's also not a machine, it's a dragon, which is very random. So apart from being equipable by your Cyber Darks, what is it really going to achieve? But anyways, you can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. First effect, you can target one dragon or machine cyber monster you control. Equip this card from your hand or field, to that target. So I don't really see this being like super broken. It's just a very, I don't know, all you're doing is equip and then it gains 600. Now this, I guess, is the cool effect. So if this card equipped to a monster sent to the graveyard, you can target one other dragon or machine cyber monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Now the one issue that I have with that is that if this is kind of worded and functions the same way as the other cyber dark monsters, like the claw and cannon, well, if your monster is, for example, used as a link material, or if it just gets kaiju'd, or if it just gets like completely destroyed, for example, in one shot, I don't think you're getting something. I don't think so. I think the equip spell has to die first, and the monster has to stay there, because I know that when no, actually, sorry, I'm completely kind of mixing it up with something a bit similar, which is the field spell. I was bouncing back my monster, and then this was actually getting sent to the graveyard, and I wasn't getting the effect of my Cyberdark monsters. So that was kind of like the weird part, but this, it probably functions the same way. And if this card equipped to a monster is sent to the graveyard, I don't really know if there is like interesting ways of kind of making this combo off. Yeah, I mean, you can target one other dragon or machine cyber monster in your graveyard. I guess the cool thing is that you can revive back Infinity, but it's not a starter. And it's just like a bad rev system that you can't even search anyways. Monster Reborn is just objectively better than that, so yeah, there's gotta be something that I'm missing. I mean, I guess it's searchable by Horizon, but Horizon is always trying to grab core. It's not grabbing this garbage, so yeah, I'm not a big fan. Alright, this is the card that ruined my whole day, my whole mood, and it's, like I said, 2 a.m. and I've got a lot of exams coming up, so yeah, I'm gonna have to grind those studies, Jesus. But anyways, the card is Eternal Cyber Quick Play Spell card, so you know, up until now, pretty good. You know, Quick Play Spell is like the best design for a card because you can use it as a spell card during your own turn and as a trap card during your opponent's turn, so just like mechanically it's pretty good. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn each. Alright, look at this. Read this very carefully. Target one machine cyber fusion monster in your graveyard. Either return it to the extra deck or special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. And then the second effect, if a machine cyber fusion monster you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Now, this, you might be like, oh, no way, it synergizes with Cybernetic Horizon. This card is broken. Oh my god, it's just revolutionary. So now what you can do is Horizon, Foolish for Cyber Dark End Dragon, and then you can search this with Core and then Sheet Summon the Cyber Dark End, or you can go into Deer Servant. Those are like all the plays that I actually thought about. And then literally 2 hours later, I realized that the ignoring its summoning conditions doesn't actually bypass that at all, because your monster wasn't properly summoned in the first place. So you can't just dump it from the extra deck to the graveyard and then summon it back with a card that says ignoring its summoning conditions, because that is no longer, we're no longer talking about just summoning conditions. We're also talking about how the card was properly summoned or not in the first place. So it's got a kind of like forgot the card. I think it was a dice level modulation or something. I forgot, but it was like your opponent draws 2, I think, and then you revive back like a level monster from your graveyard, ignoring the summoning conditions, or special summon from deck or something. I completely forgot, but yeah, I was trying to cheat it out with Horus that I was sending from finding some way of accessing it, and then I realized, oh, it doesn't actually work that way. But yeah, I mean, this card, it doesn't enable a single combo whatsoever because it relies on you already being able to play the game extremely well, and anything that it does is something that Monster Reborn can already do, something that Nexter can probably kind of already do. And when are you ever revive mix back Cyber Dark and Dragon with this card? Never, because if you summon Cyber Dark End, you should be able to kill your opponent. So this card has absolutely zero added value. It's going to be a brick, so if you draw it early on, you're pretty much starting your game with one less card than your opponent, or potentially 2 less cards. And yeah, man, in a deck that's already lacking from severe consistency issues, and you can argue like power issues, this deck doesn't really have that many pushes going first. The fact that on top of that, this card had to be restricted, like, it should have said, like, summon it back from your graveyard. This card is treated as a fusion summon instead of ignoring its summoning conditions. This was so unnecessary. Like, because the thing is, this is like the first way I thought about this card, and it wouldn't have been broken anyways. What are you doing? You're reviving back Cyber Dark and Dragon? Going first? Sure, but Cyber Dragons inherently just can't really be a tier 0 deck, man. The moment it becomes like super mainstream and broken, people can just start playing the Chimera Tech monsters, and this deck will just never be like a going first floodgate monsters pass turn, and it'll be like good. No, definitely not. Literally summon Cyber Dragon, or if you have leftover Sidras on your field, like contact fuse with your own monsters, and you're dead. So this card just, oh my god, really pissed me off, and this card is just like, really? Seriously? This is not what we asked for. Oh my god. And it's a level 3, which is like the worst part. I was like, please, we need a level 3 Cyber Dragon, but no, we get a Cyborn. Not what we want again. So we got the Cyber Dark Chimera, which is a 0 of. We got Cyber Dark and Dragon, which is unsummonable, so it's also a 0 of. Eternal Cyber is also confirmed as a 0 of, and Horizon ranges anywhere between 0 and a 1 of, but I think 0 of is probably the best ratio for this card, because I actually tested it, and it does one of 3 things. It either makes your horrible hands worse, your good hands worse, or your average hands a tiny bit better. So it's never great. The only moment where Horizon is good is either when you have Claw and another Claw, or Claw plus Horizon, or Claw plus Hurts. But apart from that, even if you have like Claw plus Cyber Dragon, remember that you have to foolish for the other attribute. You can't just send like Cyber Dragon and then Hurts. That wouldn't work with, you know, the cost of Horizon, which is the annoying part. And there's no other Cyber Dark monsters that you can actually incorporate in your Cyber Dragon strategy. So up until now, the structure deck is the actual definition of a failure. It's even worse than the Ice Bearer structure deck. So out of 5 cards, literally not a single one of them is remotely playable. It's crazy. The only one maybe that you can kind of potentially argue to a certain extent would be Horizon, but yeah, the only kind of just a light of hope that we kind of have to a certain extent would be the 3 other cards that we could potentially get, because up until now all of my predictions were correct. I said that the first wave of support would be mid-March, and then the second one would be mid-April. Look at what day we are today. It's the April 13th, so my predictions were both correct, and since we do have 8 foils, the odds of us getting 8 new cards are also pretty high, meaning that we would get 3 new cards after these 5 new cards. The 3 new cards could actually just be enough to make this deck good, you know, again, because I'm just disappointed at the fact that 5 new cards were introduced with me not being hyped about a single one of them. They don't bring anything. Oh my god, I don't know who's actually in charge of like card design and research and development in like just OCG Konami, but this is absolutely not what the community asked for. And even when they did like give those casual players the power bond searcher, it had to be in like the worst way possible. So even the casuals are not happy, and the competitive players like me who are trying to make Cyber Dragons good, well, probably even more pissed, because you were actually asking for consistency and power cards and we're getting none of them. So yeah, I don't know what you guys actually think of all that. I'm just really angry. It's not my day, not my day. I have to study so much. Like, please send me your prayers and love, because I am really going to need them desperately. But anyways, that's all I have to say and talk about for this video. So I hope you guys were able to enjoy, despite me not being as charismatic or enthusiastic as I usually am. It's because of multiple factors, like I said, because it's 2 a.m. in the morning, because it's my second time filming the exact same video, and because I am not the fan of the support. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.